One and action. Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 62 of the Badminton Experience. This is officially a emergency podcast because I am sitting here with the winner of Denmark Open 2024, and we have always promised you guys that whenever Anders wins a tournament, we will do emergency podcast. But Anders, you needed to have a break first. You had a short holiday, but let me just start off with congratulating you on your not your first Denmark Open title, but it's actually your second title. How does that feel?
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, obviously it feels incredible. It's been 8 days since I won the final, but still I'm digesting the whole week and still rewatching many of the matches. It's an incredible feeling, and I wanted to last for longer. But yeah, obviously it's been 8 days. I have had a vacation. I need to move on as well. But let's talk a bit about it here today, and then from now on, I will start to focus on new goals. But yeah, it feels incredible.
Yeah, obviously. And I was just watching your vlog from Denmark Open. So if anyone watching this one hasn't seen that, they should go on your personal YouTube and watch that if they want to relive some of the action as well.
Yeah, we just published a vlog on my personal YouTube channel, and I think it's a quite good one. Got a lot of footage from the actual gameplay and from what happened inside the arena, and also some stuff behind the scenes. A lot of videos that didn't make the cut actually, which could have been nice to get into the video, but I'll do another one for sure. And as I say in the very end of the video, I feel like I do better when I know that you still need to watch 3 or 4 minutes. But in the very end, I say that I feel like I'm better when I'm on my content grind. Oftentimes when I produce videos, it ends up being those tournaments where I actually perform. So
Okay.
yeah, it's weird. It's pretty weird.
You need to be more active in the future. You need to
I would love to,
Yeah, I was just going to say you need to.
I would love to be more active, and we are also already in plans for making some kind of mini documentary for the China Masters as well. That will go up on my Chinese platforms, but hopefully we will also do something that can go up on my YouTube and Instagram and stuff. But it's in collaboration with my sponsor Controversies. So yeah, they are hiring in a team of cameramen and bringing them to China. So we're working on something there. We haven't really talked it through, but I'll have a meeting with them in the next few days, and I'm sure we can make something interesting there as well.
Yeah, I'm sure if it's them paying for everything, they also own the rights. So that's why you cannot promise that anything goes up on your YouTube as well, right? That if it's their video.
Yeah, no, I think it will be for both their platforms and for my platform as well. But I will have a meeting with the producers, and we'll figure out what we want to shoot and everything. So yeah, hopefully that will bring me luck once again. Some more content.
We can already look forward to an emergency podcast after China Masters.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's weird with this. You know, when I first started doing content, like, was it back in, I've been doing it for more than 5 years, I would say. But when I first started to bring Oliver with me, I think the first time we did that was in 2020 for the Corona bubble in Thailand. And I remember I lost the first match in one of the first tournaments I lost to Darren Liu. And I just remember we spent a lot of time on making these videos, and a lot of thought was going into making vlogs and stuff. And I just remember during the match, I was like, this is not going well. I can't both do content and prepare for my matches, and it's too much. So I was already thinking at that time during the match where I was losing, I was thinking like, this is too much. I can't do that. But then after the match, I really did my best not to jump to any conclusions, because you can quickly jump to a conclusion that is, I can't do content and also perform at my best. I really tried not to jump into that conclusion. And funny enough, 2 weeks later, I won the World Tour Finals, where we did just as much content throughout the whole trip. So I don't know what to conclude from it. I've just been used to having cameras around me for so long that I really feel like I can handle both sides. But there's obviously a lot of people advising me in both directions, like you need to stop doing that. You need to focus on the play. And I don't know what to conclude, but I feel like I've showed many times that I'm able to balance both things out and be able to produce and also deliver on the court.
Yeah, for sure. And you're the only one who knows the right answer to the question. So I think it all affects us differently. As you say, you're very used to being on camera. You're very used to being, yeah, just acting natural in that setting. It's probably different from some others that are not as used to it. So I don't think you should
Yeah.
take much advice from anyone else besides me. And I say you should keep on making content because
Good.
we need it. We need it. And I'm sure the viewers appreciate it as well. So,
I'll do my best. I mean, one of the reasons why I stopped doing content was first of all, me and Oliver we were a little bit drained. It took too much energy, and we didn't find it as fun as we did in the beginning.
Then the quality
So-
also drops.
I mean, if it's not something you enjoy to do, you shouldn't do it. It's not fun doing stuff that you don't enjoy. So I feel like both of us were a bit tired at the time. And then also I ran into all these injuries, and I kind of felt like now I need to put all my attention into getting rid of the injuries, getting back on court, and just dedicate myself 100% to training and recovery and stuff like that. So that was why I felt at that time I needed to cut the content. And ever since me and Oliver stopped, it has just been very, very difficult to be consistent with it because obviously when I was bringing him with me, I didn't need to focus on recording myself and how should I get photos for Instagram. And we could also do the podcast with you and Oliver when we were all there on the same hotels and stuff. So that was super convenient, but ever since me and Oliver stopped, it's just been so difficult to keep the consistency. So I'll still try to figure that out. If anyone out there is a super editor or something, reach out in the comment section and maybe we can figure something out. But yeah.
Yeah, great idea, great idea. And we need to give credit to all our viewers and listeners because I think they've actually been very accepting of the fact that we haven't been very consistent. So I feel like they've just been appreciative when we actually do release the content. So that's very nice, at least.
I mean, obviously when our consistency drops, also the views drops, and also when we don't bring these very, very popular guests on the podcast, the views will drop for sure. I mean, but I'm looking back at some of the stuff that we did in the beginning with bringing on the Indonesian players and bringing on the CGR and Laksha and Pranoy. I mean, we have had some great guests and legends like Peter Gade and Taufik Hidayat. It was just amazing. I mean, we sat down and was talking with Taufik Hidayat a late evening in Jakarta, and after that we spent some time with him in the cigar lounge, and it's just like we got hundreds of thousands of views, almost 1 million views. I don't know about 1 million, but I think it's more than 700,000 views on the Anthony Ginting episode. It's just, I feel like what we did was pretty incredible, and obviously it could be nice to get back to that level, but I mean, we need to be honest about how much dedication we can put into it at this time. But yeah.
Well, anyway, Anders, enough about all the content stuff. We are here to also talk about that week at Denmark Open. As you mentioned, like you want to like take in all the impressions and everything, and I think I want to start there because also when I watched most of the vlog just now, I saw some of the footage from this match you had against Li Shifeng in the quarterfinal, and I happened to be there on that day. I was in Odense on the Friday, so I was watching that match, and just from watching the vlog, you could feel that this like the atmosphere was just amazing. Like I don't know if I've felt a better atmosphere at a Denmark Open before. Obviously, we had the World Championships last year. That was extremely special. But for me, it felt like it was just an unreal atmosphere at the Denmark Open. Is that also your feeling, or was it maybe the same? Probably not when you won last time because of Corona, but have you felt since they changed into this arena they play in now that it's been like this, or was this year special?
I haven't had any good experiences playing in this arena because ever since we moved to this arena, my Denmark Open experiences has been terrible. I've
Mm.
always showed up semi-injured or not really prepared for the event, so I haven't reached further than the second round. So
Okay.
I'm not sure how it's been on the
Mm.
last 3 days at the Denmark Open, but I mean, I think I was actually saying one of the first days that I actually prefer the old arena.
Mm.
I feel like for some reason that was a bit more like intense, more compact,
Mm.
and the how do you say, the stance
Mm.
is the same on both sides.
Mm.
Where in this arena there's one stand that's very very nice and the other one is kind of small.
Mm.
So obviously it's pretty cool with the one with the big one. That's a pretty nice like wall of people that you look up into. Uh, about the atmosphere, I would say that it was very very good, especially from the quarterfinals and on.
Mm. Well, it was also sold out, right? It was sold out from quarterfinal and on.
Yeah. It looked fully booked. I like the entrance. That was pretty cool for the semifinal and the final. There was like a red carpet. You did not have to bring your bag. That was already placed onto the court. So I like the entrance there. Sometimes I've had this experience of the Denmark Open being a little bit like childish, actually. You know, I feel like it's an event that's really, really built for kids. There is a lot of different activities besides badminton, and then suddenly the announcer in the arena says like during the matches, and if you want to go fight in like a sumo costume, you can do that out in the
In the foyer or entrance
yes,
hall.
and it's just like. Okay, I mean, I'm just playing a very crucial match. I don't want to hear stuff like that. And sometimes I mean, there's a lot of children at the event. There's also like a junior tournament going on during this week, so you hear this like, "Let's go Denmark, let's go," and you don't really hear that anywhere else in the world where it's children cheering. It's more like for adults. So the vibe at Denmark Open is just a little bit different compared to playing badminton everywhere else in the world. But I would say when we played the World Championships in Copenhagen, that felt really different in terms of the atmosphere for a badminton event. That felt like a football match. It felt like it was. I feel like I've said it before, but it was like a war environment. Like it was evil somehow, and it was amazing for me to try. And this one felt closer to that. This Denmark Open felt closer to the experience I had in Royal Arena. So because of that, I would say it was the best atmosphere that I have tried in the at the Denmark Open.
Yeah. But as you say, they do a lot for the kids, and I think it's a what do you call that? Like a strategy they put in to try and attract as many spectators as possible, because they have all these junior tournaments going on where it's all age groups, and if you participate in those, you also get tickets for the event. It draws in also the parents, of course. When I was there on the Friday, there was these 3 courts in the activity zone where the kids can play. So I went out also for 1 hour and played with kids where they could just line up. So they do like all these kind of activities, which I think it's great. But I never thought about the fact you said that you hear a lot more kids actually in Denmark Open, and I saw some Facebook comments also asking our national TV station who broadcast it. There was someone asking if it was Badminton Denmark who hired the same kid every year to shout this "Let's go Denmark, let's go." But I don't think it's the same guy every year. I think it's just like these kid voices are like it's easy to hear when it's kids, right? It sounds pretty much the same when they shout.
Yeah. But also we have a different way of being spectators in Denmark compared
Mm.
to obviously Indonesia, Malaysia, but also like France or Germany. Let's say, and it is a little bit more rare that an adult suddenly just starts to scream like hyping up the crowd or singing some song or something. In Denmark, we're a little bit more shy for some reason, whereas in France, it would be totally normal for some guy with a hat to stand up and start shouting stuff, and the whole crowd would like follow his path. But that's just different in Denmark. It's more
True.
cheering is maybe more for the kids, and the adults sits back a little bit and clap and stuff.
Yeah, I think often if an adult shouts like that in Denmark, everyone would be like looking like, what is this guy doing? Like it would be a little bit awkward sometimes.
Which is a shame. I mean, it's not that if you go, it's not like that if you go to a football match. Yeah. Anyways, but with that being said, I really enjoyed the atmosphere. I think it was great.
Yeah. When I was there, I really enjoyed it too. And let's talk about that match you played on that Friday against Li Shifeng, because to me, I don't know if you can say it was like a key match, but it was for sure the one where you were the closest to losing, and I think also the most intense one. I know you had a really tough one in the second round against Obayashi too, but I still felt that this Li Shifeng one was played at a very, very high level, and it had a bit of everything. How do you feel about that match? Even though Obayashi was longer, I would still imagine that Li Shifeng was tougher in some way for you.
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like it was a match where both of us really was able to dominate on the better side of the court, playing against the drift. So in the first game, he was playing against the drift and he was just chasing me around, not making any mistakes, and I was basically chanceless in that first game. So I feel like the challenge for me was going into the second game and really still believe that this is not like our actual level. This is just because he had the better end. Because I really got punched in the nose in that first game, where I was almost losing a bit of confidence. Like, wow, what's going on here? I have no chance. But I really tried to believe that this is not showcasing our level. This is just because of the sides. And I was able to capitalize on the better end of the court. I mean, in terms of the scores, even better than he was, actually. I lost 21-12 in the first game, but then I won 21-8 in the second game. And then...
Can you just quickly describe to the ones who still don't really understand, like, how is that possible? Like, why is the difference so big that you can feel like you have no chance, and then all of a sudden you can beat him 21-8? What is it the drift does that makes it so, such a big difference?
Yeah, so basically it's when you are playing with the drift, it's quite challenging to play the backcourt of the opponent, because if you try and lift or if you try and clear, oftentimes it will go out on the baseline. It will be too long. Therefore, you are a bit more forced to play downwards. You are a bit more forced to play an offensive style. And that's obviously quite physical to do that. Sometimes it ends up with you just running back and forth all the time because you are scared of playing anything to the baseline. So and you're on the other end, the guy playing against the drift, he can play the full court. He can play the baseline, and So that's basically it. One guy is really struggling to play the back, and the other one can play the full court. So it's, sometimes in training we play games where the court is restricted. So one player can play the full court, the other player cannot play the last, what is it called?
Yeah, so they can only play to the first baseline, so the service doubles line.
Exactly, yeah. So we try and imitate this feeling of one player not being able to play the full court, and the other player is able to do that. That's a pretty good game to simulate playing in drift. So yeah, that's basically it.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you often, because I personally, I believe you're one of the best guys to play in, like when you play with the wind, so when you're on the more difficult side. But do you, when you go into a match like that with Li Shifeng and you quickly realize that this is going to be a really tough first game, he's exploiting his opportunities well, do you then like change your mindset into more thinking you need to kind of just invest in this game to figure out how to play it in the hopefully third game as well? Or do you not
Yeah,
think like that?
I would say at some point, if you are so far behind, you
Mm,
start to think about letting the set go.
mm,
It would be a waste of energy. Let's say
mm,
you are behind, I mean, 15-6. Like it's, and you're already playing on the worst end of the court.
mm,
I mean, it's very unlikely that you will win the
mm,
match. Then you
mm,
might try to experiment a little bit with trying to play some lifts or play some clears or
mm,
yeah, stuff like that, so that if you get to a third set, you kind of have a feeling of how how hard should I hit when I lift and clear and stuff
mm.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But my mentality back in the days was way more calculated, like because I know that I had like a certain amount of energy.
Mm,
So back then I would speculate way more in dropping sets here and there.
mm,
Uh, Now I don't think about that. Now
mm,
I'm willing to give my absolute best on the worst end and
mm,
lose, because I
mm,
know I have so much more in the tank now that I can spend a lot of energy and lose, but I can still win the match in the end. So
mm,
I'm very
mm,
happy that I've reached that point where I don't
mm,
have to be so calculated and
mm,
speculate in dropping sets and
mm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you really proved that point in Denmark Open because you played some really tough and long matches, 3 games against Toma Popov in the first round, and the long one against Obayashi, where he was actually the one who started to cramp up at the end. It was clear to see that he was struggling physically. And then, yeah, the match we just spoke about against Li Shifeng. So really tough, long one, intense one, and also an evening match, so you didn't have so much time to recover for the next day. And I think that semi-final match you then play the next day against Nishimoto, I think that's where, at least for me, you really prove that in terms of the physicality, you're at a different place now than you've been in the
Mm.
past. Because I would say he's an extremely physical player, but I didn't feel like at any point in that match that he was the guy with the better physique compared to you. I don't know if you would agree, but I also felt his tactics was a little bit weird in the first game where he was playing against the drift, and I felt he was playing a lot downwards and not really trying to exploit so much that he could play it to the back until the end of the game. But I don't know if you had the same feeling. But from watching from outside, that was my feeling that he realized a little bit too late what he needed to do in that first game.
Yeah, now we're jumping to the semifinal. We left the
Yeah,
quarterfinal behind now.
yeah. Sorry about that, but
Okay,
we left that behind. Answer me this question, and
okay,
we can go back to the quarterfinal if you want to.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I would say that there's different ways of approaching playing against the drift, and
Mm,
it also depends on the speed of the shuttles and how heavy the drift actually is.
mm,
Sometimes the drift can be so insane that it's almost a disadvantage playing against the drift, because you just simply cannot get it to the baseline.
mm,
I mean, playing in at the China Open is one example where it's super difficult to get it to the baseline.
mm,
I would still say it's the better end,
mm,
but what oftentimes happen for players is that they play so short, they
mm,
just simply cannot get it to the baseline, that it just gets smashed down.
mm,
Um, so and also you can approach it in two ways. You can say, okay, I want to really put pressure on my opponent's baseline
mm,
and like chase him around the court like that and just make it super physical. Or I'll try to keep a lot of initiative in the rallies, keep a lot downwards to the net, actually playing a bit like with the drift style.
Mm-hmm.
and then try and force my opponent to lift too long on the back. So I feel like there's different ways of approaching playing against the drift.
I don't think I
Yeah,
ever used the second option because my front court game is so shit. So I always just try
yeah.
to make it physical.
I mean, I would say one thing that really worked for me in this Denmark Open was that I played the baseline. I played the side against the drift much better than have had done in the past. I was able to control my lift super well, make my opponents work, and I had a solid defense as well. So a little bit like we've seen Victor been doing for countless of times, just placing the opponent on the back line and then making them work back and forth until they, I mean,
Not, yeah,
make it clear that goes too long, or make a lift that goes too long, or maybe even too short. He smashes
mm,
it down,
yeah,
obviously, or just try and make a crazy attacking shot that goes
mm,
wide out
mm.
on the sides. So yeah,
Because they're trying too hard. Like they cannot stay in the like the pressure situation for longer.
in the
Yeah.
physical discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know that. If you ever been on court with Victor, you've tried that situation. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Sure.
Well, which one of the matches do you feel like was your best match, like in terms of your own performance?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think I will say I'm I'm happy about the Li Shifeng
Mm,
quarterfinal because I feel like he was the guy playing the best. And as you mentioned, it was a super close match. And winning these matches where it's like a roller coaster ride and it's super close, and then you finally get the victory at the very end. It's just
mm,
10 times.
mm.
I mean, 100 times better feeling than ending up losing one of those.
Yeah,
So I would say I'm really happy with how I got back into that game and how
mm,
I was able to stick to my game plan in the end of
mm,
the third game.
mm,
Because it was absolutely nerve-wracking at the very
mm,
end. I might wanted to attack crazy and really try to get some initiative in the rallies, but I stuck to my game plan, which was like
mm,
place him on the back court and make
mm,
him work back and
mm.
forth.
Yeah, I think you're really. There's no doubt that you stuck to that. You kept on flick serving, which I think was pretty brave to do, given that the situation was like it was, I think, 19 all, 18 all, like all the time it was 1 point advantage or even, and you kept giving him that. Obviously, we all know that Li Shifeng, he has a super hard smash, and he probably prefers to be in an attacking situation, but you still
Mm.
kept on just flick, 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 flick all the time. I think
But
that showed some discipline.
one thing I will say that was pretty weird about the Denmark Open,
Mm,
when you were playing with the drift, I
mm,
feel like it was super difficult to get good timing on your downwards strokes.
okay.
So, I mean, sometimes when you are playing with the drift, you can actually make some pretty good attacking shots because
Mm,
you get more power in your smashes and your stick smashes
mm,
because of the drift. But it was like the shuttle was like coming down like suddenly and quickly.
okay. Okay.
So everyone got like a weird timing in their smashes and stuff. So I would say the amount of times that I gave initiative to him
Mm,
and gave him a chance to smash,
mm,
I'm not sure that usually would be a good strategy against Li Chifeng.
mm,
But for
mm.
some reason, and it was the same for every player, and it was the same for myself, it was so difficult to get good timing on your strokes on that side of the court.
Okay. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, because I
You
remember
also
when I was.
you also saw a couple of times where the players tried to make a smash or something, and then it just
Mm,
went like straight down to the floor in front of them, or
mm,
just like
yeah,
straight into the net.
yeah, yeah, because of the bad timing. Yeah, because I was sitting, watching the match and thinking, when is that? he's got to make the short serve now. But yeah, you trusted the long one.
Maybe it was kind of like in golf where they have this called the yips or something, where in the very end they change their mind or their body just reacts somehow, and then they just end up doing something else.
Yeah.
I think that was actually the case some of the times that I wanted to make a short serve, but in the very end, damn it, I just go to flick.
Okay, but it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the last points, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a very good one.
Yeah, like the small disguise, a small variation on the final shot. I think it also says a bit about the type of player you are. Like you are not afraid to do stuff like that. And I think it's a quite important lesson for people to learn that even in situations like that, like don't wait for your opponent to make the mistakes, but create it yourself. Like be brave enough. I don't know if you thought like that, but it was when I was watching, that was exactly what I was thinking. You were not trying to let him decide. You were actually trying to take charge of the match yourself, and yeah, be brave enough to actually risk making a mistake. But yeah,
but
does it make sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. But I think you need to figure out where your opponent is at the given time. Is he in a state of mind where he's making so many mistakes and he's just having no idea of what to do? Then it might be better for you to just play it a bit safe and make him lose the points rather than you try to create something. Just about at the last rally, I end up making some kind of disguise and push it straight down into his forehand.
Yeah.
And stuff like that just happens like in a split second. You just make the decision in a split second. And I could easily, I can find many examples of me making that stroke at 19-19 in the third game, just where I hit it out in the side, or maybe the opponent reads it and I just get it right back into my face or something. But this time it worked, and it was definitely an incredible feeling to see it go down. Yeah, just about your last question quickly. You asked which one of the matches was my favorite. I would say the Li Shifeng match because of how close it was, how intense it was. But I'm also very, very satisfied with playing 3 matches lasting plus 75 minutes or something. And then going into a semifinal and a final against 2 tough players from Japan. We all know that the Japanese players always makes it quite physical. And then be able to beat them in straight games and feeling very, very well physically. I would say that I'm very, very pleased about as well.
Yeah, I understand that. I also wanted to ask you about that final against Koki. So I think Koki in general this year, he's been playing better and better. I see that he's also now up to 11 in the rankings, so getting closer to top 10. And like looking from the outside, it looked like you were like in complete control and very comfortable. But I also saw your post-match interview where you said that you actually felt like he was right there with you all the time. But yeah, can you try and describe like what do you mean by that? Because I think everyone that watched the final would think that you had it under control. I think you were leading all the time, and it didn't seem like he had the solution. So, like, in what way did you feel the pressure against him?
I feel one thing that people watching from the outside oftentimes do not understand is how small things can make a huge change in a match. So oftentimes I've won or lost matches like where the score has been like significant, like 21-12, 21-12. But I felt like it was this much that were needed for me to actually lose the match. Just a certain rally at a certain point in the match could have changed the momentum like totally. And Kogi was catching up with me in the first game. We got to a point where the score was 14-12. And I, for the third match in a row during this tournament, I managed to make one of those where I blocked a net kill, where I blocked a net kill. And he was definitely having momentum at the time. The
Mm.
score was 12-14,
Mm.
and then I blocked that one, and I got to 15-12, and I think I got to 16-12 right after that. So I kind of made a gap just after that. But yeah, I mean, if he had reached me at that time, let's say he made it equal at 14 or 15 or something, and he was playing on the better side of the court, just a few good rallies from him, then he could have easily taken that first game, and in the third game you never know what's going to happen. So that was just my feeling, like he was getting very close at that point, and that could have changed the momentum of the first set.
Yeah. All right. Did you also feel that pressure in the second, or did you feel more comfortable there also because you were on the better side? You were playing against the drift.
I felt pretty comfortable, I would say, but I also respected the fact that he's a guy that's very good at playing with the drift as well. His technique is in a certain way where he's actually very good at making lifts, even though it's difficult, as we just talked about before, because of playing with the drift. He has like this very small or short swing when he makes his lifts and his pushes, and that's very suitable for playing with the drift. Also, the fact that he's, playing with the drift, you need to be hardworking. You need to be able to play the baseline, even though it's difficult. And you need to be willing to like work and move very, very well back and forth all the time. And he's very good at doing that because he's very light. He's not that tall, so he's probably weighing not a lot. And he's moving so well, so he can stay in that grind of working back and forth for a long, long time. So and actually, before our final, he did not lose one single set. I think that's pretty impressive when there's drift in the arena. So I respected his with the drift game a lot. So and also he caught up with me at 10-10, and at that time it didn't felt like I was in total control of the match.
Yeah, interesting. I would still say I thought you were in control. I think you had that one. No.
It's because I've been playing a lot of poker back in the days. Not so much anymore though, but my poker face has become quite good.
Yeah, it's true. True. Is there anything else you want to address from that Denmark Open? Because now we've been on for 35 minutes, and there's a few other things that are not about you. So we've been talking a lot about you.
It's been fantastic having these 38 minutes all about me. But I would say just to wrap it up, it was fantastic to experience it together with my brother as well.
Oh yeah.
We talked about the fact that we lost in the first round the week prior, and it was only going to go upwards from there. And I almost kind of feel like it was way too soon that we achieved something like this, because where do we go from here? I mean, I kind of like the fact that we need to take it step by step, and it was a new beginning. But anyway, I think that's kind of like a luxury problem for us. But also, I had a bunch of friends and family in the attendance as well. So I think after the match, we were 18 family members out for dinner, and that was just fantastic. Nice. So all in all, an incredible week, and I'm very, very happy to get that experience.
I understand. And just to everyone who doesn't know, who was the other guy coaching you apart from Kasper?
That's Sven O, and I bring him out once in a while for the tournaments. But he used to be my coach when I was living in Aarhus, so it's at least 8 years ago. But since then, he's been working with me more like a mental sparring partner or something like that. He's very good as well. We have had some good experiences together on court as well. We reached the All England semifinal in 2023, which was great, but this one was definitely our best experience together, I would say. So it was nice sharing it together with him as well. And he's great.
You've also had some bad experiences with him, right? Wasn't he there in Asia the year where you had to pull out of all these tournaments?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But actually, I mean, that was when I was at rock bottom. I mean, mentally
Mm.
as well. I
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
sad at the time. So it actually was quite good that he
Mm.
was there. So at that
Yeah.
time, we did not get to work on anything on the court, but we
Mm.
got to talk about a lot of other stuff, which
Mm.
is actually his maybe his primary task when it comes to
Mm.
me. Like it's about stuff on the court, but it's
Mm.
just as much about mental and my
Mm.
life in general and my
Mm.
personal development
Mm.
as well. So
Yeah, I imagine it must be very nice to have like a huge moment like this with two people who's been there through ups and downs. I know Casper, it's only his second tournament coaching you, but obviously being your brother, he's been there through all your
yeah,
ups and downs. So yeah, I
definitely.
imagine it must be very like emotional in that way also.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely emotional. Casper obviously has not. I mean, as much as I want to give him credit, he has definitely not
Yeah.
transformed my game in the
No.
matter of 2 or 3 weeks. But still, just sharing a moment like that with a family member
Mm.
is incredible. But
Mm.
yeah, we'll continue the work from here, and we'll get better and better.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One thing that we need to address from the Denmark Open, apart from you, is what everyone in Denmark talked about. At least I saw also quite a bit of chatter online about it. It's obviously the Anse Young situation. So I think actually in the latest episode we said that she was not coming. I think we both heard that she already pulled out, but all of a sudden, yeah, she was there and she was playing. But obviously she was not very interested in getting the feedback of the Korean coaches. She already from the first match just turned her back to the coaches whenever they said anything. And I heard also she had no one to help her with the warm up in the warm up arena. Did you see that? Like, were you there when she had to do warm up?
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I do not remember her playing with anyone during the
No.
warm up. I just
Yeah.
remember I saw her running around warming up,
Mm.
but I did not see her on court actually.
Yeah, yeah, because I heard that, and I heard that Tina Baun, who is now a commentator for Danish TV, she was actually considering offering to help, just to like hit a little bit before the matches.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, I think it was pretty. Of course, it's sad to see that she still cannot work it out with the Korean Association. But I would actually say I was more impressed with her again, because she's what, still 21 years old. Must be a really, really tough situation for her to be in, and I think turning her back to the coaches like that, obviously it can be interpreted like she's a problem child or whatever. But I think she was taking a stance, and a really strong stance against the treatment of her, and I imagine that must have been very hard. So I know at least for the Danish crowd, everyone I spoke to, all the comments you see online as well, everyone is just they have even more respect for her now than they had before.
Yeah, definitely. It was first it was kind of like shocking to see and obviously as you mentioned the situation just is pretty sad. And I also feel like it's pretty uncomfortable for me to watch.
Mm.
I just fear what's going to happen between her and the federation. I mean, we've seen situations where players is not allowed to participate in tournaments, and I just fear the
Mm.
worst. I mean, are they
Yeah.
going to do something about it, like ban her from participating or whatever? I just really hope that's not the case. But as you said, she's really taking a strong stance against the treatment that she has been, yeah, getting
Mm.
from the Korean Federation over the
Mm.
years. I mean, we don't know anything other than what she has been
Mm.
saying publicly,
Mm.
and I think we addressed some of the stuff in our latest episode as well. But yeah, obviously, I really hope that they will solve this situation and
Mm.
either work it out, continue to work
Mm.
together,
Mm.
or she should be able to go independent and figure it out herself if
Mm.
that's what she want, and then hopefully still being able to play tournaments.
Mm.
But I mean, that's not looking pretty well for the Korean Federation.
No, I was impressed with the coaches. Like, they kept on going on court for every single match, even though it was
Yeah,
obvious that.
why do you think they did that?
Yeah, I actually spoke to some some Asians about it to try from one of the heads from Victor. She's Taiwanese. To try and understand, like ask, like why do you think they did it, and they think it's like a not so much a culture thing, but more they are supported by the government in terms of like the funding and everything, and they don't want to uh, have anyone being able to say, but you also didn't support her, like you didn't try. So they had to go there every single time and show that, okay, we are there to support. It's her who's saying no and doesn't want our help. So we are actually doing everything as a federation to try and help her. We try to coach her every single time. So to try and, yeah, show that they are actually doing their job. And I can
Okay.
kind of follow that. I just know if it was a Danish situation where it happened like this, I don't think a Danish coach would go back in. I know for myself, if I was coaching and a player did that, I would feel like a complete moron sitting there. So I would probably just leave. But we're also not funded by the government in the same way, so I don't know if it matters that way. But I think that explanation at least made some sense.
No, she was still playing with that big bandage on the
Yeah.
knee, and her performance in the final seemed a bit strange as well.
Mm.
Obviously, her opponent, is it Wang Shiman?
Yeah, Wang Shi.
Wang Shiyi is playing phenomenal as well.
It's her
But
fifth title this year, actually. So she's really,
wow, wow.
yeah, she's up to world number 3 as well.
Okay.
But yeah,
But still,
I I,
still,
I agree.
it looked a little bit weird. I don't know if it came down to
Mm,
the pain in her leg,
mm,
or if she was just, I don't know. I have no idea. But it seemed a little bit weird. Like I felt like she could fight harder than she actually did. So
mm.
uh,
Yeah, she
I'll
apologized after for not being able to move well enough. But
yeah,
yeah,
okay, yeah, probably the knee again, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. It still didn't look good. Still didn't look good.
No,
One other thing, which is not Denmark Open related, unless you have more you want us to touch on from Denmark Open. No.
no.
Uh, it's just we need to give a big shout out to one of our house friends. So one of the podcast mates we have. You already mentioned him
Hmm.
once, but we did an episode with Anthony Ginting, the one and only,
Yeah, that's correct.
in Bali a few years ago, and I still remember that we spoke about his love life very briefly, like asking him why he didn't have like a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. And I just remember his answer was like, "Bro, it's not easy."
This is it, bro. No, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that. I think we talked about the fact that they were able to leave like the federation, like living in the dorm
Mm.
once they got married.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
that's
I
right.
and then I was like, you just need to get married then, and he was like, it's not easy, bro.
But now he
Yeah.
now he did get married, so that's why
Yes,
we have to bring it up. So of course, huge
he did get married. Yeah.
congratulations to him and his wife,
Huge congrats to Mitzi and
Mitzi.
Anthony.
Yeah.
It looked fantastic. I feel like they really go all out when they do these weddings
Mm.
in Asia in general, but especially in Indonesia. It's almost like they release like a music video. Uh,
Yeah.
I saw one where they were out on a farm or something, and there was like a car driving them and children running. It was really like a high production video, and I was like, wow, it looks incredible. And I saw so many photos from the wedding and videos, and it seemed
Yeah.
like all the players were there attending, and it seemed like
Mm.
they had a very very good time.
Yeah, yeah, I think they definitely have a different wedding culture compared to us, where it's often 50, 60 people for a wedding in Denmark. I have a
Well,
feeling it's
wonder if they drink alcohol, or if they get like very wasted, or if they don't do stuff like that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been to an Indonesian wedding, unfortunately. Unfortunately, maybe we should be a bit disappointed we weren't invited. I don't know.
I would say I'm pretty disappointed. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I have a good relationship with
Mm.
Anthony.
Mm.
I didn't made the cut for the wedding.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
Oh, it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
we hope they get a happy married life
Yeah,
forever.
sure,
Yes.
sure. Cool,
I
Hans
have
Christian.
nothing else lined up.
Perfect. Then I will
So
get a lunch. I just came straight from practice. Didn't even have anything to eat. Didn't even have a shower. I'm
that's dedication. Dedication to TBE. I like it.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
So,
So I think
guys and
I'll do
girls,
that now.
everyone, thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Remember to watch Anders' vlog on his personal YouTube if you want to really relive the action from Denmark Open. And we'll be back soon, or maybe not soon, but we'll be back at some point for sure.
That's correct. Thanks, Hans Christian, for being the host of this episode. I enjoy these episodes where I don't have to prepare or anything. I just need to be interviewed and answer
Yeah.
some questions and stuff. That's awesome. But
Okay.
guys, as Hans Christian said, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel.